I'm Kevin Blanding, a member of C3, an inclusive spiritual community. We hope you'll join us Sunday mornings on Facebook for our online service, hopefully soon in person, and on Wednesdays at this time for a meditation for a member of our spiritual community. This past Sunday was Father's Day, a day we recognize those individuals in our lives who perhaps guided us. It can be complex for some people to recognize Father's Day. Some are recognizing a living member of their family. Others are recognizing a member of the family who may have passed away some time ago. Either way, those recognitions are complex. My own father was an incredible man. I have a couple pictures on my refrigerator that I look at every day of him just to remind me that he is still with me. As I think back, he taught me so much over the years and was a fine example. He was a member of a church that became tops in their area for giving to world hunger, tops in the country, in fact, and he was a large part of that. He was a good provider, a good father, and yet there were aspects of him that I don't wish to emulate. My father, like many men of his day, was very chauvinistic towards my mother and towards others. I fight some of the tendencies that I saw in my father. And as I think about that day and the celebrations, I think about how as a country do we handle those aspects from which we came, both the positives and the negatives. There were many great individuals in our country who were complex, who had aspects that served them well, served our country well, but when history looks back, is not something we'd wish to emulate now. As we reflect on Father's Day, it's important to judge our fathers in the context of the lives and times in which they lived. In the same way, it's important to judge history in the context of the times in which those people lived. But Father's Day can be a time we tend to gloss over the negatives and remember only the positives. And unfortunately, we have that habit in our country as well. So as we reflect on this holiday and those that follow, let's acknowledge both the good and the bad. Let's self-reflect on the tendencies that we have inherited from our past and that we must root out as we pass tendencies on to new generations. It's only through honest reflection, both of who our ancestors were and what they did, and who we are and what we choose to do, that we can move forward. So I hope you have fond memories of your father, if he's no longer living. I hope you have wonderful experiences now, if your father is living. But I also hope that you do not put your father on such a pedestal that you miss the learning that can occur from recognizing both the strengths and the weaknesses. And I hope that as a nation, we can apply that to our history as well.